Hey guys, welcome back to our garden. It's a beautiful evening. It's Sunday, May 26th. You just saw us finish off the tomato bed, which means everything in this garden is officially planted. And again, we were about 3 weeks earlier than previous years. We just decided to risk it. The weather's been good, and yeah, we've got everything in the garden. And we'll see what these 3 extra weeks does for our harvest later on this year. So, quick video. We'll just do a little tour, show you where we put everything this year, and see how everything's growing. All right. So starting off with the peas and beans, these have been here for 2 weeks. Peas are just starting to come up again, earlier than previous years. How are the beans doing? Beans are doing good. Everything's starting to come through. Everything looking good. Put some sunflowers in the corners from the planting rooms. Everything looking good. These are Baby Jack. They're the decorative pumpkins along the edge, trying to use as much space as possible. More sunflowers and more decorative pumpkins around the entire edge of this bed. Onions are doing pretty good. Again, it takes them a while to get rolling, but looks like all the plants survived and are now starting to stand up. So it's a good sign that yeah, that they've all made it, all setting roots down and starting to grow. And then the shallots and the rest of the onions we ended up putting in this bed. Put the poly over this one just to keep the peppers at the far end of the bed a little bit warmer. The temperature is going down to single digits, about 4 or 5 degrees Celsius. And while the peppers will survive those temperatures, they just like it a little bit warmer. So keep them under some poly. Carrots and the beets, planted these again a couple weeks ago, and the beets are starting to come up. Carrots are there's a few of them, not as many, but hopefully by next week they'll be up. And the dill, again, another plant that when you transplant it, it doesn't look like it's going to make it, but they've all started to perk up. In the other bed next door, the asparagus are doing really well. We've harvested almost about 5 pounds already. We will come through here and weed this bed. There's more weeds in here now than asparagus, but yeah, next weekend, or if we got some time during the week, we'll weed this bed. Next door to it are cucumber plants. Now they were planted last weekend and they are not doing very well. It's like the majority of them are really struggling to hang on. We'll see what happens. Cucamelons doing good, no problems there. Those are the pickling cucumbers, and the slicing cucumbers on the other side are not looking much better. So they may, for whatever reason, have not survived the transplant. Oh, we'll see what happens. Other bed of peppers, bell peppers, looking all right. Starting to put out some new leaves. Again, this is their second week. They've been out here. First week they were looking pretty rough, but they seem to have pulled through. Blossoms are out on the cherry tree, looking quite nice, and its neighbor blossoms are, sometime this week they will be out looking for a big harvest of cherries this year. They're bitter. For reference, they are quite bitter, but taste, at least I like them when they are dried, and of course they're always good in jams. On the other side of the garden, strawberries that we put out a few weeks ago, doing well. I have to trim off the runners on that plant so that they put all their energy, or hopefully put all their energy, into making berries. Kale's doing well, kohlrabi's doing well, and the Swiss chard all survived and are all doing very well. Blueberry plants, buds are out. Everything is looking great. Again, just trying to keep the deer off of these plants and eventually get around to weeding. It's for the beds that are uncovered, as everybody knows, it's an endless struggle to keep the weeds at bay. We have lots of plants in the squash bed. Most of these in the center are mashed potato squash, which don't vine out, so you can plant them a little closer together. We've had good luck with those plants. Mashed potato squash is very good, one of our favorite squash. In this bed we are trying garlic and horseradish. We've never had great luck with garlic, but at the same time we've never done it in these raised beds. People say that when they do them in raised beds they get very large cloves, so we will give it a try. And then horseradish at the end of this bed. We'll see how that experiment goes this year. We always like to try new plants, but we do have to be quite selective because we run out of space all the time. This year, another year that, before we know it, the beds are full and we have nowhere to plant lettuce. So yeah, if we find something that works, we keep it, but then discard the plants that don't work quickly. So more kale. This is the broccoli, cauliflower. Again, this has been here for 3 weeks now. And yeah, I mean, it's taken root and is getting very, very large. The tomato bed that was planted today, all the tomatoes have perked up and are looking great. Again, another plant that once you transplant it, kind of looks a little a little rough, but yeah, has since come back to life. The tomatoes around the outer edge that are easy to get at are the cherry tomatoes, and then everything else in the center. And then again, because we ran out of room, all of our lettuce plants are along the front, and in the corner here are some melons that we're going to train up the trellis, and we'll see how that goes. Again, kind of out of space, so we're just cramming everything to where any place it'll fit. There are more tomatoes in the back garden that we just kind of plant out back and don't really keep that close of an eye on it. But again, we have plants, excess tomato plants. We feel bad throwing them out, or just discarding them, and so we plant them in the back and hope for the best. Our celery that we grew from seed looks good. Looks like all of them survived the transplant. Eggplant's looking very, very big, considering how early in the season it is. Same goes with cabbage plants, Savoy cabbage, regular cabbage. All survived and all looking great. And it already looks like we have a little bit of insect damage on that one plant. Even though everything's covered, you really just can't win. But that's all right. That's why we plant so many plants. If we lose one or two, it's not really a big deal. All right, guys, that's it. We are all very tired, but very happy that this entire garden is planted out. Gives us a chance to frees up some weekends to do some maintenance on the paths that ordinarily is it's tough to find time to get those odd jobs done. We do have another project in the works that I'm not going to announce right now, but yeah, will feature in a separate playlist, in separate videos, loosely associated with the garden, but you'll definitely see more of it next week, and at the very latest the week after that. We won't be able to hide it anymore after that. So yeah, that's another one that's going to add a little bit to our workload. But until then, I will see you next week.